Burning Bali. Chapter 1. The Gentle Stranger. Michael never thought his peaceful vacation in Bali would turn into another challenging chapter in his life. He had dedicated 4 years of his life serving his country in the army. After witnessing countless horrors in war zones, Michael decided to radically change his life and retired. For the past 2 years, he had been a successful and sought-after photographer for various publications, passionately loving his craft. He became someone who sought to capture every moment of this beautiful life. One sunny morning, while photographing the sunrise on the beach, his attention was drawn to a girl with long flowing hair standing at the water's edge. She was incredibly beautiful, and a mystery was written in her eyes. In the gentle rays of the morning sun, she looked like an angel descended from heaven. Unable to resist, he decided to introduce himself. "Hi," Michael said, approaching her. "I'm Michael. May I take a few photos of you?" The girl was surprised and looked into Michael's eyes. "Of course," she replied softly, smiling gently. "My name is Eva." From the first moments of their conversation, something special emerged between them. He took beautiful pictures that both of them loved. They started talking and spent the entire day together, walking along the beach, discussing life and dreams. Eva turned out to be not only beautiful but also smart, with a sense of humor and a deep inner world. Like Michael, she was traveling alone. Each conversation brought them closer together. Chapter 2. Kiss on the Beach. A few days after their first meeting, Michael and Eva became inseparable. They explored hidden corners of the island, swam in crystal-clear waters, and enjoyed delicious local cuisine. The girl continued to inspire the young man to take even more beautiful photographs, becoming his muse. Their days were filled with laughter and happiness, and their nights with romance and stars. By the end of the third day, as the sun was setting, they sat on the beach, watching the breathtaking colorful sunset. When Michael turned to Eva, something more than simple affection shone in his eyes, and they both realized they were in love. Eva slowly moved closer to him and softly kissed him. The sweet taste of her lips and the delicate floral scent of her perfume made Michael's heart beat even faster. The whole world around them disappeared. The waves gently lapped the shore as they gave in to their passion, making love under the open sky. Even on such a warm evening, Michael's gentle touches sent shivers and goosebumps across Eva's bare skin. Chapter 3. First Blood. One evening, while Michael and Eva were enjoying dinner at a restaurant, a stranger sitting at another table with his friends watched the couple for a long time. It was clear he had an eye on Eva. His eyes burned with lust and envy. The stranger was tall and muscular, with harsh facial features and a cold gaze. His hair was cut short. He looked like a man accustomed to power and not tolerating refusals. When Michael went to the restroom, the stranger approached Eva. "Hi, gorgeous," he began crudely. "You deserve to be with a real man, not this tourist." Eva felt uncomfortable with the rude stranger. At that moment, Michael returned. "Is everything okay, Eva?" he asked, noticing her troubled expression. "Yes, everything is fine," she replied, trying not to show her fear. Michael addressed the stranger. "Did you confuse your table?" The stranger, sneeringly apologizing, left the restaurant with his friends. After dinner, when the couple left the restaurant, someone hit Michael on the head with a bat from behind. He fell to his knees, and 3 more men ran up, starting to beat him with their feet. Michael lost consciousness before he could defend himself. Lucas threw the screaming Eva into an SUV and quickly drove away with his friends. Chapter 4. Pay the Bill. After spending a few days in the hospital, Michael regained consciousness. Covered in bruises and cuts, with a bandage on his head, he wasn't thinking about himself. His thoughts were only about finding Eva. Barely able to stand, he went to the police station, where he was asked to fill out a report. "You must do something right now," Michael insisted, his voice full of desperation. "We'll try," the duty officer responded lazily, not looking up from his papers. Angered by the police's negligence, Michael shouted at them, but was quickly subdued with the threat of being jailed for disorderly conduct. Realizing he couldn't help Eva from jail, Michael apologized and left the station. Outside, a stranger passing by quickly handed him a note and walked away. Confused, Michael opened the note and saw a phone number with the words, "Call me." Michael dialed the number, and after a few rings, he heard the mocking voice of the stranger. "How are you feeling, buddy? Head still hurt?" he asked. "It's me, Lucas. We met at the restaurant." "Where's Eva?" demanded Michael. "She's with me," Lucas replied. "If you want to see her unharmed, you'll have to pay us some money. And don't bother going to the police. It won't help you. For your motivation, I'll let her speak." Lucas handed the phone to Eva. Crying, she asked about Michael's condition. "I'm okay, Eva. I'll find you," he managed to say before Lucas cut off their conversation. Lucas named the place, time, and ransom amount. He threatened that if Michael didn't bring the money, Eva would be sent to the worst brothel on the island. Michael, having no other choice, agreed. Chapter 5. Money in the bag. Michael called friends and family, gathering the necessary amount. By the deadline, he had managed to collect the money and handed it to a man on a motorcycle at the appointed time. "She'll be released in 15 minutes, the man said in a gruff voice. Michael had no choice but to trust the stranger and wait. But time passed, and Eva didn't appear. Michael called Lucas. "Where's Eva?" he asked, his voice full of anxiety. "She's gone, brother. As soon as you paid for her, you killed her," Lucas replied and chuckled before hanging up. Michael was speechless with pain, his breath caught, and a huge lump formed in his throat. In anger, he dialed Lucas's number again, but heard only a message that the number was unavailable. Chapter 6. Cut Finger. Michael went back to the police station, hoping for help, but again faced indifference. At that moment, he recognized the gruff voice of one of the officers. It was the man who took the money on the motorcycle. Now Michael knew what he would do next. He followed the officer to his home. Breaking in, Michael knocked the officer out, then tied him up and began interrogating him. When the officer tried to stay silent, Michael beat him and then cut off a finger. Michael only wanted Lucas's address. The rest didn't matter to him. After a few minutes of life without a finger, the officer gave up the address. It was a mansion in a quiet part of the island. Armed with a knife in his anger, Michael headed there at night. Chapter 7. The Final Battle. The mansion was occupied by about 9 men. Among them, Michael recognized the individuals who had been with Lucas on the night Eva was abducted. One by one, he took them down, waiting for them to separate from the group. Acting coldly and methodically, Michael managed to eliminate them all. Finally, he reached Lucas, who was relaxing in his bedroom, dressed in a black silk robe and biting down on a thick cigar. Loud music filled the room as Lucas shouted, "Sweetie, where's our champagne?" Covered in blood, Michael burst into the room and ruthlessly attacked Lucas. Lucas, seeing Michael in such a state, was momentarily stunned by shock but quickly regained his composure and began to fight back. A brutal and fierce battle ensued between them. Michael, a man hardened by war and having seen much death during his service, seemed relentless and invincible. No matter how hard Lucas hit him, Michael wouldn't go down. Michael used his military hand-to-hand combat skills, repeatedly slamming Lucas into various objects and furniture in the room, whether it was a television or a fish tank. Michael didn't want to kill Lucas immediately. He wanted to inflict as much pain as possible. After toying with him, Michael broke Lucas's right arm, knocked out his teeth, and shattered both his kneecaps. Lucas fell to the floor, writhing in pain. Michael wanted to end it and began to strangle Lucas. In response, Lucas tried to say something. "I'm a cop," Lucas wheezed out. "If you kill me, you'll get life in prison." Michael coldly continued to strangle him. At that moment, Eva entered the room, wearing a silk robe over a bikini. In one hand, she held a bucket of ice with champagne inside, and in the other, 2 crystal glasses. She was stunning, she glowed. But most importantly, she was safe and unharmed. "Michael?" she exclaimed in surprise upon seeing him. The champagne and glasses fell from her hands and shattered on the floor. Michael, unable to believe his eyes, let go of Lucas's neck and stepped back. Eva rushed to Lucas, who was lying there bleeding, and asked, "Darling, are you okay?" Michael was in shock. "What's going on?" he asked, not believing his eyes. Despite the pain, Lucas laughed. "You really didn't understand anything, did you?" he sneered, breathing heavily. "This is how we scam dumb tourists like you out of money. And Eva here is our accomplice, the star of our show, our bait. She lures in suckers like you, and then we fleece them. You thought what you had was real. What a naive boy you are." Michael, consumed by rage and disappointment, looked at Eva. She averted her eyes, unable to meet his gaze. "Is it true?" he asked, his voice trembling yet calm. Eve slowly nodded, her face filled with regret. "Michael, I didn't want it to go this far. I'm sorry," she whispered. Lucas smirked. "Look at her playing her part," he said. "Too bad you fell for it. Though not too bad. Thanks to people like you, people like us have everything we want." Michael, unable to contain his fury, grabbed the knife and approached Lucas. But at that moment, Eva threw herself between them, shielding Lucas with her body. "Michael, please, don't do this. I'm as guilty as he is," she pleaded. Michael stopped, his hand shaking. He looked into Eva's eyes and saw not only fear but genuine remorse. "Michael, did you really pretend the whole time we were together?" Eva with tears in her eyes. "Michael, was it all not real?" Michael's eyes glistened. "It was real for me." Michael dropped the knife, turned, and without saying a word, walked out of the room. "Leave, Michael," Lucas shouted after him, laughing spitefully. "Take your life lessons and get out of here while I'm still alive." Michael felt like his insides were being torn apart. But he realized one thing. This was a war he was destined to lose. The end. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for your attention.